Portrayed by actress Joanna Moore, Mayberry's resident nurse, Peggy McMillan, well, she took a liking to Sheriff Taylor during the first half of Season 3, and truth be told, for the life of me, I just don't understand why. You see, I didn't really love the way that Andy treated her. He didn't like that she had money. He resisted many of the nice things that she would try to do for him. And then to top things off, he got incredibly jealous when an old school chum who just happened to be a guy came into town to visit her. To be completely honest, this wasn't the first time that Andy and his lack of prowess manifested itself with the ladies. Seriously, folks, did this guy graduate from the Don Knotts School of Love? Going all the way back to Season 1, Miss Ellie was constantly having to set Andy straight on a variety of different things. Fortunately for Andy, Helen Crump would make her first appearance later on in Season 3, and the rest, as they say, is history. But what about Peg? One could argue that she had everything, and if you ask me, it really feels like, at least in the fictional world of Mayberry, she was the one who got away. In just 4 episodes, Ms. Moore made her mark as a female character that could stand her ground, but when the time was right, understood what it meant to give and take in a relationship. And I loved her voice. That southern accent really set Peg apart from the other gals in Mayberry. Yet, for whatever reason, whether it was a real-world concern on the part of Griffith and the producers that the chemistry just wasn't there between the two, or it was something else, Peggy, well, she just disappeared. I mean, one day she's fishing with Andy and Opie, sipping on hot cocoa, singing her heart out, and the next day, poof, she's gone. So much for the beautiful nurse with a benevolent heart. So what really did happen? Why was Joanna's tenure on the show so short-lived? You know, it is entirely possible that there were just too many offers for Joanna to stay put in Mayberry. During the 60s, Moore's career was flying sky high, and because of that she was seen on many popular shows of the era, including The Rifleman, Gunsmoke, Perry Mason, The Fugitive, and even Bewitched. And it also could have been that Ms. Moore's personal life came calling right around the same time as her stint in Mayberry. She was in a relationship with Ryan O'Neal, who had a popular show of his own called Peyton Place. They were starting a family, and well, that can be a full-time job by itself. By the way, that is a young Tatum O'Neal on Ms. Moore's lap. A few years later, of course, Tatum would become the youngest Academy Award-winning actress ever, winning an Oscar for her work alongside her father in the movie Paper Moon. Sadly, Joanna's relationship with Ryan O'Neal would not last, and after they separated, she turned to both alcohol and drugs to fight the depression and anxiety that she was feeling. Although she was able to continue to land roles, her depression worsened, and in 1970, Joanna checked herself into a state hospital for psychiatric treatment. Sadly, Joanna's demons were not easy to conquer at all, as the next year she was arrested for drunk driving after she and ex-husband O'Neal got into a fight. After her arrest, she lost custody of her children, and by the late 70s things had gone so far off the rails that she was being financially supported by her daughter Tatum. The next couple of decades weren't always the easiest for Joanna, but she was a fighter, and every time that she fell, with the help of family and friends, she did her very best to pick herself back up. Although I understand that Ms. Moore had a bit part in the 1986 Australian movie Run, Chrissy Run, the very last thing that I recall seeing her in was a 1980 Gary Coleman TV movie titled Scout's Honor, while Joanna's part in that movie was small. Along with Coleman, she had some pretty darn good company, including Katherine Hellman, Harry Morgan, Angela Cartwright, Jay North, and Paul Peterson. In 1996, Moore, a longtime smoker, was diagnosed with lung cancer, and a year later, on November 22, 1997, she died from the disease at the age of 63. Tatum was right there by her side. I've got to say that it's comforting to know that she was there with her mother at the time of her passing. So often, especially when someone struggles with addictions, family members have to step away from the chaos. In many cases, their actions are completely understandable. Still, like I said, I'm glad that Tatum was there for her mom. I love this picture. You know, she really did have a wonderful career in both movies and television, and that's the legacy that I choose to remember. Alright, now it's your turn. Please share your memories in the comments section, and while you're at it, I'd love a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I would be absolutely honored if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.